Bhakti yoga is a spiritual path or practice that emphasizes the importance of devotion and love towards a personal God or divine being. The word bhakti comes from the Sanskrit word bhaj, which means to adore or worship. Bhakti yoga is one of the four main paths of yoga in Hinduism, alongside Jnana yoga, Karma yoga, and Raja yoga. Bhakti yoga is based on the idea that by cultivating a deep and sincere love and devotion towards a personal God, one can attain spiritual liberation and realize the true nature of the self. This path involves the practice of various devotional acts, such as chanting the names of God, singing hymns and prayers, performing puja, worship, rituals, and engaging in acts of service towards others. One of the key teachings of Bhakti Yoga is the concept of surrendering to God. This involves recognizing that God is the ultimate controller of all things and surrendering one's own desires and actions to the will of God. Through this surrender, one can attain a sense of inner peace and freedom from the limitations of the ego. Another important aspect of Bhakti Yoga is the cultivation of divine virtues such as love, compassion, humility, and selflessness. By developing these virtues, one can begin to see the divine in all beings and serve others with love and compassion. Bhakti Yoga also teaches the importance of the company of other devotees and spiritual teachers. By being in the presence of others who share a similar devotion to God, one can deepen their own spiritual practice and receive guidance and inspiration from others on the same path. Overall, Bhakti Yoga is a path of devotion, love, and surrender towards a personal God or divine being. Through the cultivation of love, compassion, and divine virtues, one can attain spiritual liberation and realize the true nature of the self. Bhakti Yoga offers a valuable spiritual path for those seeking to deepen their connection with the divine and lead a life of inner peace and spiritual fulfillment. In Bhakti Yoga, the concept of God is central to the path of devotion and love. Bhakti Yoga recognizes the existence of a personal God or divine being, also known as Ishvara, who is the object of devotion and love for the devotee. The nature of God in Bhakti Yoga is multifaceted and includes different forms and manifestations that are worshipped by devotees. One of the fundamental concepts of Bhakti Yoga is that God is all-pervading and present in all beings and things in the universe. However, Bhakti Yoga also acknowledges that the personal God is a distinct entity with a unique personality and qualities. Different forms and manifestations of the personal God, known as deities or avatars, are worshipped in Bhakti Yoga. For example, Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Goddess Durga, and Lord Shiva are popular deities worshipped by devotees. Bhakti Yoga also recognizes the importance of the relationship between the devotee and God. The relationship between the devotee and God is characterized by love, devotion, and surrender. The devotee sees God as the ultimate source of love and joy and offers their love and devotion to God through various devotional acts such as singing hymns, chanting mantras, and performing worship rituals. In addition to the personal God, Bhakti Yoga also recognizes the concept of the absolute or unmanifest God, also known as Brahman. This aspect of God is beyond form and attributes and is the ultimate reality that pervades everything in the universe. Overall, the nature of God in Bhakti Yoga is complex and multifaceted. The personal God is worshipped as an object of love and devotion, while the absolute God is recognized as the ultimate reality that pervades everything in the universe. The relationship between the devotee and God is characterized by love, devotion, and surrender, and the different forms and manifestations of God are worshipped by devotees. The practice of Bhakti Yoga involves cultivating a deep and abiding love for God or the divine. It is considered to be one of the most direct and accessible paths to realizing the ultimate reality or achieving liberation. Bhakti Yoga is characterized by the path of devotion, prayer, and worship. Devotees express their love and devotion to God through various acts of worship and service. This includes singing hymns, chanting mantras, offering flowers, lighting incense, and performing rituals. Bhakti Yoga recognizes different types of devotion or bhakti. One type of devotion is called Saguna Bhakti, which involves worshipping God in a form with attributes, such as Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, or Goddess Durga. Another type of devotion is called Nirguna Bhakti, which involves worshipping God as an unmanifested or formless reality. The path of Bhakti Yoga emphasizes the importance of surrender to God. This surrender can take different forms, such as offering one's actions to God or surrendering one's ego to God. Devotees believe that surrendering to God allows them to transcend the limitations of the ego and achieve union with the divine. Service, or seva, is also an essential aspect of Bhakti Yoga. Devotees believe that serving others is a way of serving God. Seva can take many forms, such as feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, or helping the poor. Bhakti Yoga also emphasizes the importance of developing a personal relationship with God. This relationship is characterized by love, devotion, and trust. Devotees believe that through their devotion and love, they can experience the grace and blessings of God. Overall, the practice of Bhakti Yoga involves cultivating a deep and abiding love for God or the divine through various acts of worship, service, and surrender. Devotees believe that this path of devotion can lead to the realization of the ultimate reality and achieve liberation. The philosophy of Bhakti Yoga centers around the concept of devotion and love for God or the divine. It is considered to be one of the most accessible paths to achieving liberation or realizing the ultimate reality. In Bhakti Yoga, devotion is seen as the means and the end. Devotees cultivate a deep and abiding love for God through various acts of worship and service. Devotion is seen as the key to transcending the limitations of the ego and experiencing the ultimate reality. Bhakti Yoga recognizes that the path of devotion is not just about loving God, but also about loving all beings. Devotees believe that the ultimate reality is present in all beings and things in the universe, and therefore, the practice of Bhakti Yoga involves loving and serving all beings. Bhakti Yoga also recognizes that the ultimate reality is multifaceted and includes different forms and manifestations. Devotees worship various deities or avatars, such as Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, and Goddess Durga, as the personal forms of God. These deities are seen as the objects of devotion and love. Bhakti Yoga also recognizes the existence of the absolute or unmanifested reality, which is beyond form and attributes. This ultimate reality is known as Brahman and is seen as the source of all beings and things in the universe. The path of Bhakti Yoga emphasizes the importance of surrender to God. Devotees believe that surrendering to God allows them to transcend the limitations of the ego and achieve union with the divine. This surrender can take different forms, such as offering one's actions to God or surrendering one's ego to God. Service, or seva, is also an essential aspect of Bhakti Yoga. Devotees believe that serving others is a way of serving God. Seva can take many forms, such as feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, or helping the poor. Overall, the philosophy of Bhakti Yoga centers around the concept of devotion and love for God or the divine. It recognizes the multifaceted nature of the ultimate reality and emphasizes the importance of surrender and service. Bhakti Yoga is seen as a path that leads to the realization of the ultimate reality and the achievement of liberation. The practice of Bhakti Yoga is believed to bring numerous benefits to the practitioner, both at the physical and mental levels. Here are some of the benefits of Bhakti Yoga. Stress relief. the practice of Bhakti Yoga is believed to help reduce stress and anxiety by promoting a sense of inner peace and calmness. Emotional balance. Bhakti Yoga teaches the importance of surrender and detachment, which can help practitioners cultivate emotional balance and stability. Increased focus. The practice of Bhakti Yoga involves concentration and meditation, which can help improve focus and concentration. Improved relationships. By cultivating love and compassion for all beings, Bhakti Yoga can help improve relationships and foster a sense of community. Increased self-awareness. Through self-reflection and introspection, Bhakti Yoga can help practitioners become more self-aware and understand their place in the universe. Improved physical health. The practice of Bhakti Yoga involves physical exercises, such as asanas and pranayam, which can help improve physical health and well-being. Sense of purpose. Bhakti Yoga teaches that the ultimate purpose of life is to attain union with the divine. This can help practitioners find a sense of purpose and direction in their lives. Spiritual growth. By cultivating love and devotion for the divine, Bhakti Yoga can help practitioners experience spiritual growth and realization. Overall, the practice of Bhakti Yoga is believed to bring numerous benefits to practitioners, both at the physical and mental levels. It is a path that leads to inner peace, emotional balance, improved relationships, increased self-awareness, improved physical health, a sense of purpose, and spiritual growth. Bhakti Yoga, like any spiritual practice, can present challenges and obstacles to practitioners. Here are some of the challenges that practitioners of Bhakti Yoga may encounter. Attachment to material world. One of the main challenges of Bhakti Yoga is overcoming attachment to material possessions, desires, and relationships. This can be particularly difficult in modern society, where materialism is often valued over spiritual pursuits. Ego. The ego can be a major obstacle in Bhakti Yoga, as it can prevent practitioners from surrendering themselves fully to the divine. This can manifest in the form of pride, arrogance, and self-centeredness. Distractions. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, making it difficult for practitioners to maintain a focused and dedicated practice of Bhakti Yoga. Social media, work, family, and other responsibilities can all take away from time and energy that could be devoted to spiritual practice. Doubt. Doubt can be a significant obstacle in Bhakti Yoga, particularly for those who are new to the practice or who have not yet experienced its benefits. Doubt can lead to confusion, indecisiveness, and a lack of faith in oneself and the practice. Spiritual dryness. At times, practitioners may feel spiritually dry, lacking in inspiration or motivation to continue their practice. This can be a challenging obstacle to overcome, as it requires perseverance and a deep commitment to the practice. Resistance to change. Bhakti Yoga requires a willingness to change and transform oneself at a fundamental level. This can be a difficult obstacle for those who are resistant to change or who are comfortable with their current way of life. Despite these challenges and obstacles, Bhakti Yoga offers a powerful path for spiritual growth and transformation. By recognizing these challenges and working to overcome them, practitioners can deepen their devotion and connection to the divine and experience the many benefits that Bhakti Yoga has to offer. Bhakti Yoga has been practiced for thousands of years and continues to be a relevant and powerful practice in modern times. Here are some of the ways that Bhakti Yoga is practiced and adapted to the modern world. Devotional practices. Bhakti Yoga is centered on devotion and love for the divine. In modern times, this can take the form of devotional practices such as chanting, singing, and dancing in praise of the divine. Seva, or selfless service, is an important aspect of Bhakti Yoga. In modern times, this can take the form of community service or volunteer work, helping to serve others and make a positive impact on the world. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation are important components of Bhakti Yoga, helping practitioners to cultivate awareness, focus, and concentration. In modern times, these practices can be adapted to fit into busy schedules, with mindfulness exercises and guided meditations available online or through mobile apps. Social justice. Bhakti Yoga encourages love and compassion for all beings, and many practitioners are actively involved in social justice and activism work, striving to create a more just and equitable society. Ecological awareness. Bhakti Yoga emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of caring for the natural world. In modern times, this has led many practitioners to adopt environmentally friendly practices and advocate for the protection of the environment. Yoga studios and retreats. In modern times, Bhakti Yoga is often practiced in yoga studios and retreat centers, offering classes, workshops, and retreats that combine the physical practices of yoga with devotional practices such as chanting and singing. Overall, Bhakti Yoga remains a relevant and powerful practice in modern times, offering a path to spiritual growth, social justice, environmental awareness, and personal transformation. Through the adaptation of traditional practices to fit into the modern world, Bhakti Yoga continues to inspire and uplift practitioners around the world. Bhakti Yoga is a path of devotion and love for the divine, rooted in ancient Indian traditions and philosophy. It offers a way to cultivate a deep connection with the divine, leading to spiritual growth, personal transformation, and a more compassionate and loving approach to the world. Through the practices of devotional chanting, selfless service, mindfulness, meditation, and social activism, Bhakti Yoga provides a powerful framework for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. It also encourages a deep respect for the natural world and the interconnectedness of all beings, inspiring many practitioners to adopt environmentally friendly practices and advocate for social justice and equality. While Bhakti Yoga has its roots in ancient traditions, it remains a relevant and powerful practice in modern times. Its teachings and practices continue to inspire and uplift people around the world, offering a path to inner peace, love, and spiritual awakening.